party elections. President Granger highlights accomplishments of APNU-AFC administration and E-Day March 2 declared a public holiday. Stay with us as we take you through major stories covered from February 23 to 28, 2020. Thank you for joining us. During a radio interview on the hot seat on Friday, President David Granger boasted of the many accomplishments under the APNU-AFC administration in just 4 years.
President Granger said an amnesty proposal will be deliberated before Cabinet that will see University of Guyana graduates exempted from repaying their student loans. He was a guest on Friday on the 94.1 FM's hot seat. According to President Granger, while the repayment of loans is a legal obligation, proposals have been made for the amnesty.
Some people will be brought before Cabinet to grant an amnesty so that they'll be allowed to enjoy the benefits of free education by not having to pay the money for which they're indebted. So once the revenues start to flow, yes, we can consider the amnesty, and I can assure you that it will be favorably considered by the Cabinet.
Government's amnesty plan comes on the heels of its commitment to providing free education at the university level as the country prepares for the decade of development. Meanwhile, the head of state also defended his government's performance over the years, noting that it is enough to see it retain in office on March 2. He said the APNU-AFC government is the only party that has presented a manifesto which lays out its plan for the next 10 years.
The most important elements will be education. That is, we want an education nation. We want young people who can become engineers and develop the country. We spoke about that when we spoke about free education. That's an important pillar of this of the plan for the decade of development. We want to end unemployment for young people. There are too many young people who've dropped out of schools, what they call the NEETs, not in employment, not education or training. We want to reduce or even eliminate youth unemployment. Third, we want to have a more equal society. Right now, very poor people are children of poor people, and their children tend to be poor as well. I call it hereditary poverty, and poor people cannot enjoy equal access to justice, to education, to a good life.
The president made a call for all to make their mark on E-Day and re-elect the coalition to office.
They should re-elect the APNU-AFC because we are the party with a vision, we are the party with a manifesto, we are the party that will take Guyana over the next 10 years to ensure that development touches every Guyanese citizen. We're the party that looks after the future, looks after your children and your grandchildren. We're the party that will safely handle petroleum revenue, make our country safe, build happy families, and ensure that Guyana joins proudly the developed countries of the world.
For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
More duty-free concessions for teachers, maternal debts reduced by 75%, and other investments in women were highlighted at the APNU-AFC Coalition Women's Rally.
First Lady Her Excellency Sandra Granger said the APNU-AFC Coalition government remains genuinely committed to women and girls all across Guyana.
I'm telling you, this government has slow and steady hands. This government has an easy touch. And I promise you, it will not come and go in an easy rush.
She said the president and the APNU-AFC are investing their efforts on improving the lives of the people of Guyana, especially women and girls.
David Granger believes in the equality of women, and that's why he's put women in the vanguard of this government's efforts to secure a good life for all Guyanese. 4
maternity waiting homes have been established, one at Sodi in Essequibo, one in Georgetown at the Indigenous Peoples Hostel, and one at Anai in Region 9 and another at the Lethem Regional Hospital. Minister Lawrence noted that these interventions ensure women have access to quality health care regardless of their location.
We can all assemble here tonight in solidarity, thanks to the vision of our presidential candidate. You know the man, I know the man, all of we know the man, who from the moment he assumed office in 2015 demonstrated his commitment to the development of women in Guyana. We can stand here tonight with great pride, heads held high, because of his respect for women.
Teachers have been and will continue to be a vital resource that a David Granger-led administration invests tremendous resources into. As such, duty-free concessions will be given to teachers by a re-elected APNU-AFC coalition government. With 11 female government ministers in the National Assembly representing the APNU-AFC coalition, Guyana has achieved twice the global average of representation for women in government. Addressing the large crowd of predominantly women, Minister of Public Service the Honorable Tabitha Sarbo-Hali said that 70% of the permanent secretaries of government ministries are women.
The APNU-AFC coalition, when re-elected, will increase opportunities for youth. We will develop innovation and entrepreneurship training programs, provide more scholarships with focus on STEM for girls and young women, offer mandatory career counseling for secondary school students, which will help you to get jobs once you would have completed.
Women have opportunities like never before under this coalition government. This is according to Kamal Prasad, former deputy mayor of the Bartica Township and APNU-AFC candidate. The Alliance for a Change member emphasized to the mammoth crowd of mainly women gathered at the parade ground on Thursday the initiative set up to ensure women and girls are protected and empowered. Some of these initiatives and programs Prasad highlighted include SLED and HAZE. These programs have a high success rate and provide funding to hinterland and coastal youth and women for entrepreneurship and growth.
And we will continue to invest in women because we know that money spent on women is money well spent.
Guyanese women have recommitted to remain steadfast with the coalition and its leader, His Excellency David Granger, and on March 2 will take the lead and re-elect him to office. The charge was given by legal advisor in the office of the Prime Minister, Tamara Khan, as she addressed the rally. Chorusing David G. and me forward together for victory, Khan said there could not be a better life for Guyanese than that which is offered by the APNU-AFC and President Granger.
Sisters, this is only the beginning. This country of ours, this beloved country of ours, is going to be an education nation. President David Granger will lead us into the decade of development.
Minister of Youth Affairs, the Honorable Simona Brooms, Minister of State, the Honorable Dawn Hastings-Williams, were also present at the rally. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Monday, March 2, 2020, the day designated for the holding of general and regional elections across Guyana, has been declared a public holiday by Vice President and Minister of Public Security, the Honorable Kemraj Ramtatan. The declaration was made on Thursday by the Ministry of Public Security under the Public Holidays Act and is expected to be officially gazetted. With the day freed up, schools and public buildings can be effectively used as polling places. The Guyana Elections Commission has published the official list of electors for the elections with more than 660,000 names. His Excellency David Granger, speaking on Thursday on NCN's Vibes FM, outlined the APNU-AFC coalition government's vision for Guyana, which includes the realization of the good life for all and a socially cohesive society.
A mantra of the coalition government is the good life for all. His Excellency President David Granger shared his view on what this means during an interview on NCN's Vibes 100.1 FM.
Most Guyanese I meet would like to have a better life. They like to be comfortable, like young men and women want to get married, they want to have good housing, good salary. And that is what I intend to deliver. It's not a question of ideology, but it's a question of quality of life. And that is what my government has been putting a lot of attention.
Asked about opportunistic moves by some sections of society to spew hatred and divide the citizenry, the President said that because of the issue's sensitive nature and its importance, it must be addressed. Hence, the creation of the Ministry of Social Cohesion. The Baridi Banab at State House, the President said, was also constructed to foster unity.
Next Pagwa Day, you are going to see Hindus celebrating Pagwa in State House. At Diwali, you will see 2 rows of deers coming from Main Street into State House. You will see Muslim ceremonies, you will see Christian ceremonies. We are much more tolerant of each other. We're tolerant of each other's prayers. We're very respectful.
The head of state noted that whilst the nation has a far way to go, the coalition's move to bridge the gap between the coast and hinterland will help to unite citizens.
That the indigenous peoples are not one mass of people. They are 9 tribes. They have different languages, and we need to understand them better. We need to ensure that public services are delivered to all sections of the population, so we have greater equality in this country.
Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu on Thursday commissioned the East Coast Widening and Improvement Project, Better Hope to Belfield.
We are capable of delivering not only necessary things that are needed for Guyana, but projects that have quality, projects that are modern, and projects that can be uplifting to Guyanese people who need to see the reason to be proud of our own creativity.
That was Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu, who delivered the feature address at the commissioning of the East Coast of the Marara Road Widening and Improvement Project. The Prime Minister further championed the project as one that is worth the investment, as the coalition government remains focused on investing monies on projects that Guyanese need most. Minister of Public Infrastructure the Honorable David Patterson, under whose purview the roadworks were done, commended the $1 billion in savings that resulted from the prudent management of the project. While congratulating his staff, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, and his contractor for their diligent work, Minister Patterson reminded citizens that the road is here to enhance their livelihood.
I do hope that road users be cautious, and I hope that the safety features built into this road will help contribute to the reduction of road fatalities. So my first request is that we use the road safely for what it's intended to be used for.
The $9 billion highway extends from Better Hope to Belfield and includes the widening of the road to 4 lanes from Better Hope to Annandale and the upgrading of the existing 2-lane road from Buxton to Belfield. These works were accompanied by the construction of bridges, concrete drains, and other key infrastructure. Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable Jaipal Sharma, also attended the commissioning ceremony. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
His Excellency David Granger said the decision by the Ghana Elections Commission to reduce the number of private residences for polling places has nothing to do with the government.
The head of state was asked to respond to concerns raised by the opposition PPP, which claimed on Thursday that it was deeply disturbed over GCOM's decision. He made it clear, too, that there is no attempt on the part of the APNU AFC commissioners at GCOM to disenfranchise anyone. Though not within the government's purview, President Granger noted, however, that the PPP had in the past abused the very system, causing many Guyanese to be disenfranchised.
In the past, when the PPP was in government, it was apparent to us in the opposition then that some of the private residences were so obscure that many of our supporters couldn't find them. And in fact, some of them were changed at the last moment. I'm not going to go there. I don't know the reason. I'm not in charge of running the elections. If there are any complaints, they should be addressed to the chairman of the commission.
Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield said that the polling stations available tie into ordinary arrangements of the voting process and that the elections body is not taking away the ordinary method used by the electors. He said GCOM is now heeding recommendations made by the Carter Center following the 2015 elections, which stated that the commission should minimize the use of private residence.
Generally, public places are used for elections. And if public places are available, then public places will be used. It's as simple as that.
For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
More than 20,000 residents on the west coast of Demerara are benefiting from improved access to water following the construction of the iFlood water treatment plant.
During the feature address at the commissioning of the $1 billion water treatment plant, Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, lauded the efforts by the Guyana Water Incorporated, which have led to improved access to water throughout Guyana.
What we are seeing in the Guyana Water Inc. is the attention to the smallest man, irrespective of where you are. And this is, of course, in keeping with the mandate given to this corporation by His Excellency the President, that the quality of life enjoyed by the citizens in Georgetown must be that same quality of life that every citizen for the farthest south, deepest south of this country must enjoy.
GWI's Managing Director, Dr. Richard Van Wels Charles, underscored that the IFLOT plant is one of 3 water treatment plants under the Water Supply and Sanitation Infrastructure Improvement Program. The other 2 plants are in Diamond on the east bank of Demerara and Cheetanker in Region 6. The Managing Director outlined some of the major takeaways of this project.
The metering, we have begun to see more effective and efficient use of water, and the level of service in all 3 areas has improved significantly. I have been told that this supply from the far end at Hague down to the Kendrick, the level of service is good, and we haven't throttled it up to its maximum as yet.
The plant's introduction is in keeping with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6, which seeks to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
Director of the Department of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino, while appearing on the National Communication Network's Context, sought to bring further clarity to Guyana's oil and gas sector.
The Energy Director used the opportunity to reiterate that under the Public Sharing Agreement, Guyana is receiving more than the widely purported 2% royalties.
The contract provides for 2% royalty on gross production. So all petroleum products that are produced, Guyana gets 2% royalty off the top. Additionally, we have something which is called profit oil. So each year at a minimum, you have 25% profit to be divided up between CNOOC, Hess, and Exxon, with 12.5% going to that grouping and a remaining 12.5% coming to the government of Guyana.
Touching on the country's local content policy, Dr. Bino stated that it seeks to closely align with the Public Sharing Agreement.
We're speaking about something that is fit for Guyana, given where Guyana is, given where Guyana wants to be, and given the pathway that Guyana intends to follow to get to where it wants to be.
Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu met recently with Chairman of the Commonwealth Observer Team, Owen Arthur, where he reiterated the coalition government's commitment to free and fair elections.
In an invited comment following the meeting, Arthur noted him along with his team will be diligent in their observation of Guyana's electoral process. Quote, "I think Guyana is putting together everything to have elections within the law. We are here not to run the elections or determine the elections, but to observe the elections." End of quote. Prime Minister Nagamutu expressed his satisfaction following the meeting, noting that the chairman was satisfied with the measures put in place for the hosting of elections on March 2, 2020. Quote, "He will see that nothing that is unusual should take place in an election that we hope would be credible, free and fair." End of quote.
The Prime Minister also met with several international observer missions on Thursday.
The Prime Minister met with electoral observers from the Organization of American States, the CARICOM Electoral Observation Mission, and the United Nations Development Programme. During the meetings, Prime Minister Nagamutu provided clarity and reiterated the coalition government's commitment to a transparent electoral process.
I repeated the President's assurance that these elections would be credible, free and fair, and free from fair.
The Prime Minister deemed the meetings fruitful.
I have been very pleased by the responses of all these delegations. Yesterday, as you know, I met the Commonwealth group headed by former Prime Minister Sir Owen Orta from Barbados. And so I think that they all understand the turf, they understand the nature of the Guyana society, and they also are very optimistic from what they have seen, what they said, that they haven't seen any incidents that would raise their concern.
Guyanese will head to the polls on Monday, March 2, 2020. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
A $17 billion premium residential community will soon be constructed at Plantation Ogle, East Coast, Demerara. The sod was turned for the construction to begin on the second Windsor Estates.
The choice of Ogle is strategic and feasible because of the presence of the Eugene Correa International Airport. This is just the beginning of many more things such as this to happen all across the length and breadth of this country.
Public Health Minister the Honorable Valda Lawrence speaking at the historic event on Thursday. The establishment of the residential community is being realized through a partnership between the project's developers, Navigant Builders Incorporated, and the National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited, NISIL, with support from the government. The project will mirror similar features to the Windsor Estate at Providence East Bank. NISIL's head of the Business Development Unit, Rachel Henry.
The Windsor Estates East Coast Development Project will feature very modern design homes, commercial zone to include banks, medical facilities, a shopping area, and exquisite restaurants. The director of Navigant envisages a very model-live environment. As such, patrons can expect swimming pools, multiple tennis courts, a basketball court, a 7,500 square feet clubhouse equipped with game room, kids video game room, large screen movie room with theater seating, and a gymnasium.
Mark Thomas, representing Navigant Builders on behalf of its CEO Donny Saw, said the project is expected to be a hallmark and cornerstone in Guyana's progressive development. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
Addressing hundreds of residents from communities in the Upper Mazaruni, Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu reminded of the coalition government's plan for building an educated nation. He assured that the proceeds from the oil and gas sector will go directly to this initiative.
And we intend in this government, after the 2nd of March, to return free education at the university. It is a right for all our young people to be educated, particularly now that we have oil and gas.
Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu. Speaking to families and young people in the Upper Mazaruni on Wednesday, Prime Minister Nagamutu made it clear that persons living in the hinterland regions would not be left out.
We have to now prepare young people to be engineers, environmentalists, technicians, to prepare them for the future. And from oil, we will be having the revenue to do all of this.
PM Nagamutu also took time to thank the country's indigenous peoples for protecting Guyana's natural wealth, its pristine forest.
87% of our country is covered by virgin forests, beautiful forest that helps to make Guyana the green lungs of the world. The whole world is looking at Guyana to see how we can save this planet. And the people who we give credit for this are our indigenous peoples. They have been the great protectors of our country, the great defenders of our natural resources.
For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Front Road West Rumvelt has been upgraded and commuters and residents are in high praise for this recent development.
It's perfect. I think this is a way
a good way forward for the government, recognizing a community like this and doing a road for the people.
That was taxi driver of 3 years, Joel McRae. Janet Pompey, a resident within the community, expressed her satisfaction with the road works.
Well, it's a good job, well done. And I'm quite certain that the people in the community appreciate what they did.
A few other persons chipped in their views as well.
The road is smooth, a little wider, and then it have a lot of bumps now to slow down the speed for other road users that, exceed the limit. But, it just need to now brush up the parapet so the pedestrian could flow easier.
At least, in the nights when you go out and got to come back in, they ain't got for call, well, a whole set of money for say, well, $1,000 for coming. They just call, well, $500 to come in the road now. But now that the road do is everybody want to go up and down the road.
West Front Road was among a number of streets to be done under budget 2019. Other roads completed include Fern Drive, better known as South Entrance, Essequibo Street, and Critchlow Avenue. Gavin Lewis for InfoHub.
The Central Housing and Planning Authority has announced that persons who have been allocated house lots between the period October 1, 2019 to February 29, 2020 are eligible for a 50% discount on the cost of the land.
Approximately 1,000 future homeowners will benefit from this initiative, allowing them to save money and to get a head start on the construction of their homes. Minister within the Ministry of Communities with the responsibility for housing, the Honorable Annette Ferguson, recently made this announcement. She noted that it is in keeping with efforts of the CH and PA to make housing affordable for Guyanese. Dubbed the 50% off for public promotion, persons who were offered land for residential purposes in housing schemes that were either established or regularized by CH and PA are the ones who will benefit.
This initiative is another attempt at opening the door for applicants to eventually build your dream house in a short space of time. This means that we will absolve the burden. And when I say we, I am referring to the agency, thus allowing you to finally realize your life's dream.
The minister urged persons who fall within this allocation period to take full advantage of the promotion, which will run from March 1 to May 26, 2020.
The money you will save from this discount can be used in commencing the construction process.
This is specifically applicable to those persons whose house lots cost $2.5 million Guyana dollars or less. Housing schemes such as Prospect, Monrepo, Le Bon Intention, Annandale, Lusignan, Strathspey, and Bladenhall are where the agency has made allocations during the October to February period. Meanwhile, other areas including Onderneming in Region 2, Experiment in Region 5, and Fort Ordnance, Hampshire, number 75 and number 79 in Region 6 also saw allocations being made. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through the Mahaika Abari Rice Development Scheme and the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, have partnered and donated a $7.3 million 30-seater school bus to the community of Burma in the Mahaika Berbice region.
The bus will serve students from communities along the Burma Road, including Augsburg, Katharina, and Champaign. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Noel Holder.
It is part of the government's program, the President's initiative, for books, buses, bicycles.
Public Infrastructure Minister, the Honorable David Patterson, remarked that while the communities have several needs, the provision of the school bus was one of the low-hanging fruits.
I am doing it for the children. This is our investment in training and in education.
Transportation at times to get in and out, it can be very hard at times. We would normally have to stand by the wayside and ask one of the drivers to bring you in or drop you out. And having the bus is a very, very good thing. It would really be helpful to the children because sometimes they have to be standing there until 5, 6 o'clock in the evening before they get home.
Minister Holder handed over a tractor and other items valued at $15.5 million to the Hope Coconut Industries Limited.
We're glad to get the tractor now. It's a big help. Thanks a lot to the manager, the minister, whoever donate.
will give some big help for we.
For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
The Guyana Rice Development Board has invested $110 million for the establishment of a state-of-the-art seed cleaning facility at the Burma Rice Research Station in Region 5.
The seed cleaner equipment cost $99.3 million, while renovation to the existing building was completed for $10.4 million. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Noel Holder, addressing the gathering at the commissioning ceremony on Wednesday, said the 10-ton modernized seed cleaner will continue to provide good quality seeds, noting that better quality seeds increase yield by 10 to 15%.
The new seed cleaning facility will provide greater efficiency in the operations of seed cleaning of the various varieties produced at the rice station.
The new high-quality system will allow the Burma Rice Research Station to clean seeds that it produces at a faster rate, thus reducing extended working hours. Reporting for InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
In what has been described as the grandest of all celebrations, Mashramani 2020 brought with it a different kind of vibe that many believe will leave a long-lasting impression, especially of its colorful, eye-catching costume bands. Here is your final story.
Thousands of Guyanese, along with ministers of government and tourists, join in the fun on February 23rd as a long-awaited Mashramani float parade danced off. InfoHub caught up with several ministers and other revelers who are leading their respective bands. Minister of Social Cohesion, the Honorable Dr. George Norton, was the first to enter the Durban Park.
We're grateful for the weather and the participation of the fine, clean fun, enjoying it.
Next was Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable David Patterson, who showcased the Maritime Administration, costumes which depicted Guyana's oil and gas and renewable energy sector.
Actually, I'm spending with good folks, lovely folks, it's been excellent. The reception on the road has been great as well, the turnout has been great, so it's just been a great day so far.
Tramping behind was Minister of Public Health, the Honorable Walter Lawrence, whose band focused on the International Year of the Nurse and Midwife.
Today we are displaying those categories of workers, honoring them in their year, and we are also showing off our new trauma center that will be coming on stream with 400 beds and 5 operating theaters.
Meanwhile, as float proceeded down the MASH routes, scores of persons secured coveted spots at the Botanical Gardens to view the float while also enjoying valuable family time. Kevin Warren and his family were among those enjoying what the day had to offer. Like Warren, Roland John Gomes and his family were also hanging out in the gardens to have fun while taking breaks from viewing the colorful costume and float parade.
We got great people, we are a great nation, we just got to mix with each other and get along together and live very prosperity and good. Everything else is there.
This year's Mashramani celebration were held under the theme Guyana Together, Reflect, Celebrate, Transform. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
This has been InfoHub Recap, which looked at major stories carried from February 23rd to 28th, 2020. Remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms. On Elections Day, March 2, DPI will be providing you with live updates. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend, and remember, voting is your democratic right. Goodbye for now.